Hello and welcome to a Mountain King Trailblaze ultra running pole video. I've used these for the Spine race, for the Arc of Attrition, and done over 500 miles. Let's go. So hello and welcome to Active Ideas. This is a review video on the Trailblaze poles. I have a lot of history with them now. If you're already a runner who uses poles, you probably know how attached you can get to these things because I've been through some emotional journeys on these ultra races. I've done the Spine race, a 268-mile ultra marathon. I've done the Arc of Attrition, a 100-mile ultra marathon, considered one of the most brutal in the UK. And these poles have carried me every step in the way. When times get tough and you whip out the poles, I find my strength in my upper body starts to shine, and I'm able to drive myself up these mountains and to get to the top and eventually complete these crazy ultramarathon distances such as the Spine. Now, what do I love about these poles? These poles are insanely lightweight and they're so durable as well. I'm going to tell you some stories about what these have gone through and you won't believe that they're still in one piece. So just taking this one apart, they fold into 4 pieces, so it's kind of the Z pole pattern that you've got going on here, and this is what they fold and look like. They're so lightweight, and I've taken them on hikes as well with friends because you can carry these in your pack or on your pack or behind your pack and just not worry at all about the amount of additional weight it's adding to your pack. They're an absolute no-brainer where if you get any knee trouble or you've got a friend that gets any knee trouble, you can just whip out and be like, here you go mate, this will get you to the bottom. But most importantly for racing, having a pair of poles that are so lightweight is just a no-brainer. It means that you can take them with you from A station to A station, not worry about that compromise in weight, and when you need them, get them out. So first of all, what is my experience with poles? I've used the real cheap hiking poles that you can get from your local Target stores and Kmart, and here we have Sports Direct. You know, those real cheap poles for hiking. I've used those initially, then I upgraded to Harrier poles. Harrier are a UK running brand who are well acclaimed within the ultra sport. Again, they're offering you a cheap product, but maybe quite a heavy product. And you get a lot of adjustability with the Harrier poles because you can move the poles up and down. Again, the weight was so high and I actually ended up bending those as well. So durability, not great either. These poles are like the cheapest I could find, and they're the best poles you can get. Like, I'm convinced you should buy these. You need to buy these and try not to poke yourself in your eye like I just did there. The reason is as well, so the Trailblaze are not the most lightweight poles that Mountain King do. I'm going to try their ultra poles out and see what their durability is like, but if you want a pair of poles that you can rely on, and you know, at some points I've weighed closer to 80 kilograms, so for a runner that's quite heavy. These are the 110 centimeter poles, so there's a lot of force going through these things. And yeah, I've jammed them into boulders, twisted them on rocks, had people stand on them, have my staffy dog run into them. These haven't snapped, broke, bent. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked at their durability. What is the story behind them? I was doing a backyard ultra in Suffolk. That is one of the best backyard ultras in the UK, and it's where all the records are broken. And the race director, Lindley Chambers, was there. He's who runs the backyard ultra. He's also the kit check guy for the Spine race. I turned to Lindley at the backyard ultra and say, hey mate, I need some poles for the race I'm doing, the Spine race in 2 weeks. Please help me out, I'm desperate. And he said, Kings, check out the Mountain King Trailblaze poles. I get them, they cost me £80, they get delivered to my house, and to this day, we're about 7 months later, it's the best kit decision I've ever made. Like, I test part of my achievements to these poles. Now in terms of sizing, I'm gonna drop a chart here. There's lots of things you can do to make sure you've got the right size. You want roughly about a 90-degree angle when you're stood straight and just hold the poles. You can get a tape measure out and do that yourself and then order the poles, and you can also do it based off your height and your hips and things like that. I'm 5'7", and according to most kind of sizing charts, I actually went for the 115 centimeter poles so that I had the right fit. But what I did is I ordered the 115 and I also ordered the 110, which is what these are. All of the numbers, the advice, everything I read was pointing me towards the 115. I did a few test runs and most importantly walks with the 110 centimeter. Again, I'm 5'7". I found this to be the much more comfortable sizing for me. Now there's a lot of things that you need to consider when it comes to sizing for poles. But for me, I do have issues with like carpal tunnel. I haven't got carpal tunnel, but those kind of symptoms, and I do have weak elbows where I can sometimes get shooting pains through my elbows. What I really didn't want was a really acute angle in my elbows. I wanted my arm to be relaxed, so I had to do minimal effort in my arm stride to get these poles from behind my back to up in front. So I've gone for 110. and I'm going to be walking and hiking up hills and mountains in these poles most predominantly. I didn't really need them for, you know, sprinting down a mountain, leaning forward and having these longer poles. So I've opted for sizing down, and I'd say if you're a back of the pack runner, I'd probably suggest you do the same. If you're a front of the pack runner, get your true to size, or if you're borderline between sizes, I recommend sizing up. A lot of you would have seen and maybe own Leki poles, and they have a very nice glove that you can get, but the comfort of this grip is all you need. Again, it's adding to that lightweightness of the pole, and you slip underneath exactly like you use a skiing pole. You come over the top and grip, and that's going to give you all the force you can push down to kind of push back with those poles and get that kind of projecting force energy from these poles. So the hand grip is great. I did do a few things. So I've used these bare hand for around 60 miles, no issues, no blisters, so I think the comfort's great. For my spine race, occasionally I would have worn the fingerless gloves, just to offer a little bit more padding on the handles. And again, I was running the spine race for 6 days straight, so wearing the gloves helped with that. And again, with the arc of attrition, I wear them bare hand as well, so I would say maybe 60% of that race I was bare hand with these poles. No issues with blisters or anything like that, and the cushioning is just about right, and you can get a real good fit with that grip and the spongy foam area. And then during the night when it got cold, I'd pop on my Innovate gloves and just get a bit more support when kind of handling these poles. But the grip is there. In terms of how you cinch these poles down, you have this little tassel at the top, so you'll let it dangle down, you pull it out of your kit and you pull this tassel here. This little thing here is what you pull, and this is how you tighten up your poles. Now again, another weakness I've had with the Harrier poles is that collapsing them and reattaching them has got really stiff, and I found that with a lot of poles can stiffen up. These have been through the absolute hurt house, mud, sand, salt, sea, wind, everything, and to attach these poles is still very smooth. You saw me do it there. There's no kind of friction or issues with that. It's easy to do when you're fatigued from running ultra races. I like the way this system works. It comes with a knot which is just placed into there, and it isn't very inspiring at first because you think surely that's not going to last long. But as I said, I've been using these poles 7-8 months now, and that knot's still there. And if you need to unhook your pole, pull this again, get that knot off the catcher there, and they'll come unattached. So I've really enjoyed that system of kind of attaching the poles and getting them on, and I've not had any issues at all with the poles collapsing, where you might find that with some poles where you stick them into mud and the mud grips your pole with all its strength, and you go to pull it and you actually feel this pole come apart, and many other poles would as well, and that could be a moment of weakness when they collapse. This pole has never collapsed on me when I've got it stuck on boulders or kind of mud. It's sprang back with all the energy in the world, and I'm seeing no issues with durability, no bends in the poles or anything like that. So yeah, it's a strong and reliable system to get these poles to lock in. We're going to get some close-ups on durability. Like I said, there's no bends in the pole, which is good. I'm a heavier runner, nearly 80 kgs going through these for maybe 500 plus miles easy done. We'll get some shots on the poles and the top here. This has been jammed into so many boulders, rocks, pavements, stones, cliffs, soil, mud. There's not a mark on the end of the pole where it bites into the ground. It hasn't got sharp or anything like that, so that's holding up really well. There's no issues to the polymer that's kind of leading up to the pointiness of the stick. Really looking good in terms of durability here. And again, just those close-ups are showing you what these poles are looking at, like 500 miles plus longer. And not just 500 miles of walking, they've been raced with the spine race, the arc of attrition, climbing up Henway Fan, taking them to the peak districts. I've really battered these things. Just want to say as well, they come with this elastic, so when you have kind of tightened them up, you have this little thing, this little tassel pinging around, and it's become a little kind of tick for me, something to keep my mind on when I'm racing. You can tie that down. You've got some elastic here, which you can pull back the elastic, feed through the tassel of the pole, and just stop that swinging around the place. There is that little bit of Velcro there, but like I said, one of my ticks has been playing with these poles as I'm running. You know, if you're running for 6 days, you need to keep yourself occupied. So I've enjoyed holding the tassel as it flings around, and I don't know why I've enjoyed that, and just tucking my little pinky underneath this little Velcro piece. Every now and then you'll find it slipping down if you're not using it to, you know, tow away part of this lacing system, which you should do, but I wasn't. And I enjoy just putting it up and tucking my pinky in, and you know, it's just those little things that you're day 4 and you're losing your mind, just having to focus on a little bit of maintenance of your a pole kept me going. I don't know what that was and I can't explain it, but I enjoyed that as like a ticking thing to do, to enjoy. The last aspect is the design. When I've got these out in front of people, again, my friend Abby, in front of the lads, all they've said is that looks like an awesome pair of poles. The way they look and design, they look professional, they feel professional, and when you get these out, you feel like you're about to do business. You do want a piece of kit that's going to inspire you to absolutely gun it up those mountains, and this pair of poles does that for me. The design of them, the lightweightness, the feel and the function are all there, and they just kind of all point towards you being super inspired to crush that trail. Last little things as well, they are going to come with like a little carrying sack so that you can kind of put them away when you're leaving them in your shed, your cupboard, in your loft, wherever you kind of stay away your kit, under your bed. They come with a carrying pack. They do come with a mud guard as well, and some plugs to put on the bottom to stop them stabbing into things and ruining kit whilst they're in your bags. So they come with those things as well. And yeah, any questions you do have, please leave them in the comment section down below. Please like, comment and subscribe. We're trying to build up this channel, and peace out. So thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe if you can. My slogan, dreams are a step away. And remember, show compassion, show esteem, and have fun out there. Peace out.